Hello, plant friends. Hope you guys are all doing well and spectacular and awesome out there. In this episode, I am going to share with you guys my number one tip for planting or indoor gardening. I think when people talk about planting or talk about their journey, all the aspects of plant care, um, I think people think about it sort of in terms of this. Along this axis, I have time or money or effort, energy, basically whatever you want to term it, like whatever you're putting into the plant care process. Um, and then on this axis, I have plant health or growth. I think that people get the sense that sort of there's this like linear relationship between the amount of time or money or effort that you put in and how well your plant is doing, right? So you put more time, or I don't know, you buy more expensive fertilizers, or you buy better grow lights, or you do whatever. I don't know. You look at your plant more often, or something, right? And it's like the more you do, the better your plant is. I don't think that this is the correct way of thinking. Um, I actually, sorry, let me wipe this down. Right, right, here we go. I actually think the relationship is sort of more like this. In the beginning, even if you put a lot of time in, a lot of effort, a lot of money and resources in, but you sort of like don't know the basics yet, it it doesn't really get you too far, right? I think an example of this is if you buy the best pesticide or you buy the best fertilizer, but you don't have the soil composition right, right? Or you're just getting lots of root rot, right? That extra time and effort or resources that you're spending isn't getting you better plants, right? Or isn't making you a better plant parent because you're sort of missing the basics, right? So I think in the beginning, everyone has this stage where they sort of suck as a plant parent. And then I think that there's actually a very sharp increase once you master the basics, right? And what I talk about the basics, I'm talking about soil composition. I'm talking about frequency of watering. Yes, people can put like lighting in there. People put like fertilizing, pest control. But I think like the real basics are watering and soil, right? Mostly soil, right? Because you can adjust watering, you can adjust the soil. I would say mostly soil. Once you figure out soil composition, what works for your environment, you get a huge jump, right? A huge jump off of plant health and plant growth, right? Like if you get the soil right and you're not rotting your roots and your plant is like just basically surviving, you've you've done a good job, right? You've done a lot of the work. So up here, like once you master the basics, I think if we're talking about what grow lights to use, or the intensity of the grow light, or like a lot of light, medium light, or we're talking about fertilizers. A lot of people talk about different fertilizers. You don't get as much bang for your buck, or bang for your effort, or bang for your time as if you just focus on the basics. This is especially true for new planters, new plant parents, and you're trying to do research. You're on social media, and everyone is just talking about like the best fertilizer, right? Like don't use Miracle Grow because Miracle Grow sucks or something. I use Miracle Grow, so they're just talking about things that I feel are like right here. That I think the difference between Miracle Grow and your next best or the best fertilizer out there, I think you're sort of doing a little nitpicky thing. Maybe it does. Maybe Miracle Grow, like you're right here, and maybe the really expensive or the better fertilizer you're up here, right? But I think that that's minimal, and whether or not that's worth the money spent is sort of up to you. I think that there's always a cheaper option that is probably very good, and the more expensive option, which is probably maybe possibly a little better, but doesn't give you as much bang for your buck. This is not where you should be focusing as a new plant parent, right? You should not be focusing on grow lights or fertilizers, right? What you should be focusing on is sort of this area right here, right? This area where learning good soil compositions that work for you, right? Soil components that you have access to, soil components that work for your environment, and then how often to water your plants, right? Just to keep them alive, right? Like that process does take time. It does take some money to get those soil components, and it does take some effort on your part to get it right, figure out the right mixture for you. But I think that goes such a long way. Right? If we're talking about plants as a hobby, it's not a week long thing. It's not a month long, right? It's usually a year or years, right? It's a long term hobby. When we're talking about longevity, right? You want to decrease effort. You want to save money, right? You want to decrease time that you're spent doing things you don't want to do in regards to the hobby. So I think that this curve is also relevant there because I feel that a lot of people think that they do need to put a lot of time in. They do need to put a lot of money and effort and energy into this hobby for their plants to grow well. If you've been following this channel or or know me at all, you know that I'm probably like right here, right? I'm very lazy, very cheap, economical, whatever you want to call it, in regards to my plant care, right? I sort of just want them to be here. Maybe I'm even like right here, right? And maybe I'm not right here yet, right? I sort of, for the most part, disregard this thing, this aspect of the curve. I mostly disregard because for me, I don't think getting my plants this much better is worth my time or money or effort, right? I am much more happy here where my plants are doing well, but maybe not optimal, right? They're surviving, but maybe they're not growing as fast as they could grow if I put more time or more effort into their care. But, right, like plants are not 100% of most of our lives, right? We have careers, we have families, we have other hobbies. So I think I think a lot more people should think of it something like this, as in, how much time or money or effort do I want to put into this hobby that will keep me happy and sane and prevent me from burning out with plants and their care in the long run, right? And maybe you'll find that like you're where I am, right? Where you're okay being lazy and your plants are just growing well but not optimally. On the other hand, maybe you're one of these, like going this extra mile, figuring out the best fertilizer for your plants, the best exact soil composition, the best grow lights, right? Maybe figuring it out brings you a lot of joy, right? Maybe it's like that's the fun you have in this hobby, is like that causes you or gives you more joy than it does stress, right? So maybe you like being here, right? Maybe you want to. Maybe like this is the point of why you got into the hobby or why you're sustaining in the hobby. If that's who you are, reach out to me, give me pointers, give me tips, right? Because I think that's awesome. And the people who are here, who do spend that time, that effort, that money to optimize things, these are what I would consider the leaders and innovators of whatever field they're in, right? Especially in our hobby, right? People who are trying to get us to the very best, trying to figure out the most ideal ways we can grow plants in our homes to replicate their normal tropical environments. These people are the ones that we should look up to for advice, right? The ones that we should follow on social media. These are the ones that should be, we should look towards for guidance and leadership as a hobby, as a plant community. Don't put in so much time and effort and money that you're up here, but it's just like causing you to burn out, or it's causing you a lot of stress or anxiety, right? You don't want to do that. If that's where you are, if this hobby is causing you a lot of stress and anxiety, or you're feeling that it's you're burning out, go back. right? Go down a notch. Your plants, for the most part, will probably still be fine. They'll still be great even if you back off a little bit, as long as you have your essentials. I hope that helps, and I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Lots of rambling, yes, lots of rambling. All right, till next time, guys. Happy planting.